Household 5, smell less ugly.
Hey guys, alright, so this is our first video. I'm John with Household 5. We got Alexis helping out in the background as well. Today we're going to do soap making by infantrymen. So, got a few things you got to kick off soap making by infantrymen. First, as every good infantryman knows, in order to do anything properly, we're going to go ahead and have to shoot an azimuth. Yeah, okay, 32 degrees on the azimuth. Let's move on to the next step. We're going to be working with lye. I'm going to tell you now, lye will f you up. Lye is kind of like the opposite of an acid. It'll still burn you, just in the other direction. Our lye is going to be rather diluted. If you ever splash lye on yourself, go ahead and rinse that shit off with a copious amount of water and go ahead and get it taken care of. After you rinse it off, you'll just dry it off with a paper towel. You should be good to go as long as you use copious amounts of water. If you drink lye, you should probably go to the hospital immediately. As any proper infantryman, we're going to start our work off with a good shot of whiskey. There we go. If we have to do too many takes on this video, it's going to be here. What do you mean that was the scent? I thought it tasted different. Next step. We're going to go ahead and get started here. Today we're going to be making our Valentine's Day soap. It's our first holiday soap. And we're going to be making it. We're going to just be doing a short loaf today. Going to make us about 10 bars of soap, 4 ounces-ish each. We're going to be throwing some soap frosting on it as well. This is the first soap we've ever done with soap frosting, so it, who knows? First step with any soap making, you're going to need some oils. Today we're going to do work in 2 different colors, so I got 2 batches of oil. I got some more oil. I'm pretty sure you can see it in the camera over here. That's going to be for the frosting. Now, some people do add their colors and their scents a little different. We added at the beginning. So the first color that we're going to do is burgundy, and we're also going to add some titanium dioxide in here because the scent that we're going to be using has some vanilla in it, and vanilla will turn your soap brown. Our oils are all vegetable oils this time. Can't wait for our 4th of July soap though, when we make our America bar. That bastard's made out of bacon grease. Here we go. So first thing we want to do is go ahead and get our scent together. So we're going to need 1.5 ounces total of scent. I've actually pre-poured those here because I suck at pouring stuff and didn't want you to see that on camera. So it's 1.5 ounces of scent to go in our oils that is going to smell up our soap. I don't really recommend more than 2 ounces for a pound of soap. Here we're doing 1.5 ounces because this scent is a little bit stronger. Know your scents, folks. Some of these scents work as an accelerant, which will make your soap harden like that. It'll make your soap harden faster than a 16-year-old boy in cheerleading practice. Burgundy. So, for our colors, we want a slightly darker color. As you can see here, we got 2 different quantities of oil. We're going to have a base color, which will actually be the white, and an accent color, which will be the red or the burgundy. So for the burgundy's really strong. We're going to add it in here. There we go. Now, we're going to go ahead and mix that up. We're going to get our trusty hunting knife. If you guys don't have a trusty hunting knife, then son, I don't know what you're doing wrong with your life. Some people ask me, John, why don't you mix your stuff up with a whisk? And I say, because whisks are for pussy. See it right here? No whisk. No whisk zone. Trademarked. So you're going to mix it up real good there. Now, you want to check your bottom here to make sure, yeah, we still got some granules going around there. All right, so this is a no whisk. Can you hand me a whisk? So we got a trusty whisk here. That'll help us really mix it in pretty good there. Great, no granules at the bottom. That'll have a nice solid color to it. Now the temperatures that we are working at today is a little colder than we normally do because we're doing this video. We're working a little bit slower. Normally we work in the 120 degree range. Today we're going to be working in the 90 to 100 degree range. All right, so we got 1 teaspoon and we're going to do 2 teaspoons for this whole batch here because we have a good concentration of vanilla in this particular scent. That's really going to brown things up. Another thing that we have for this particular soap actually is some pre-made hearts. Now we just went and bought a silicone mold of little hearts and we just pre-made the soap by just mixing in the colors that we wanted. We actually didn't even scent these. And so we have those that we're going to do as an add-in. Now, go ahead and pick up your pre-required infantry 8-inch hunting knife. You're going to get it good and mixed up there. Now, titanium dioxide is a real bitch, and it is rather hard to get it good and mixed in. You're going to end up with a lot of granules. Now, titanium dioxide is obviously a natural additive for white. A lot of painters use it for oil-based white paint. They mix it in themselves. For this, unfortunately, we're going to have to go to our industrial strength hunting knife here. First, we're going to have to turn on the power. Here we are. There we go. We're going to get it good and mixed up there. Again, you're going to want to check the bottom. Yeah. Titanium dioxide just takes a good little while to get it all mixed in there. Some people do these as an emulsion. They'll actually have this white pre-mixed. We don't do that because we don't use white very often. So keeping that pre-mixed would just be a waste of space for us. Now, if all of this looks like too much bullshit for you to deal with, you can always just go online to www.household5.com and get your soap straight from us instead of trying to make it yourself because you don't want to deal with all this. All right, there we go. Now, our next step there will be to add in our lye. Now let me check my temperatures here. You're going to need a good old thermometer. Now I like these. You can pick them up from Harbor Freight. They're like 15 bucks. They're not bad. They're good and accurate. They're quick. Now one of the things that you'll want to do with your lye is keep them within about 10 degrees of each other. Now this one's just a little bit cold. So we got 89, 90 degrees there, 89, 90 degrees there. All right, right on the money there. So this one's gonna be our larger batch of oil. So we're just gonna pour that right in there. Now we're just going for a real light trace here. God bless it if we're your first soap video. I hate it for you for that. But what trace is as you're mixing your solution up here, you will start to see it thicken. And trace is as you pick it up, you'll see it leave a little trail behind. It thickens up like pudding and leaves a little trail behind in the pool of oils that are in your bowl. Now, we're gonna go ahead and use our mixer again just to speed along the process. Great, now we're waiting for that to set up a little bit. You go ahead and get your provisions out. Now this is a requirement for every infantryman, is you always carry a beer in your LBE. That's fantastic, but unfortunately I gotta hide the label behind stuff because we're not sponsored by them. So what we're looking for is trace. Now you can start to see it's thickening up here. Looks a little more like a little more like paint. We're going to go a little thicker than that. We're going to go ahead and pour our lye for our other soap in there. Or our other color, rather. Alright, we're down to 94 degrees. That's perfect. I'm going to go ahead and pop that one in there. Now, while that one sits for just a minute, go ahead and mix this one up. Right? Now while we're waiting for this, you can go ahead and smash that like, subscribe button down there. Let me know any comments you have about my methods of making soap. Just bear in mind that unless your tips are extremely helpful, I'm probably going to ignore them. Alright, so now we're starting to get where we want it to be. So as you can see, it's starting to thicken up there real good. We want a little heavier than latex paint. Somebody asked me one day, John, why don't you use baking references to trace, like pudding and cake and dough? I don't bake, that's why. I do paint though. Not well, mind you. Which is why I make soap for a living. There we go. So you see we got a little bit of trace there. That's what we're looking for. And now we're going to get this one to trace real quick. Now it's all about timing. And we're probably going to screw it up. Just know that. Like, that just really needs to be a philosophy in life. You're probably going to screw it up. Doesn't mean you don't do it. It just means you're not surprised when you screw it up. Know your limits. Words of advice. All right, now, for this particular blend, we're actually just going to dump the one into the other. Let me grab a spatula. I didn't have one ready because I'm an idiot. All right, so we're going to use a spatula, get all the drippity drops. Great. Now we'll just give that a good run around there. Perfect. Now we're just going to pour that right into our mold. We got a silicone mold here. We got it off of eBay for like 10 bucks a few years ago. It still works fine. Here we go. Now, I know this looks white right now, but it's going to end up with more of a cream color by the time it's done. It's an old Native American trick to leveling out your soap, is to just bang it on something. And I had one of my Irish friends tell me that that was an old Native American trick. Now, we're going to let that set for just a little bit. We want it to set up. The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and put our embeds in there while it's setting up. We want to do this before it gets too hard. Now there's a couple of ways to do this. You can pour it in a little, put in your embeds, pour it in a little more, put in your embeds. But I prefer this method. Just because I like to use all the soap and make sure I use all the soap. Perfect. Now, while this is setting up, we're going to go ahead and start on our soap frosting. For our soap frosting, we're going to use a little bit more of the scent. Now this is going to be a smaller batch here, so about half of this. So we're going to use a half an ounce of fragrance. Now, all of the fragrances that we use on any of our soaps are phthalate and paraben free. What the am I doing? Here we go. Damn, I have not drank enough to be doing this. There we go. Now, we're going to use a half an ounce of scent for this particular one. We're going to split this into two different colors here, and I want to really pop and top. So, well, that sounded really stupid, I know, but anyway. Alright, so this one needs to heat up a little bit as well. Now we're going to heat that up for just a few seconds. So we're going to need to let that sit just a little bit. Now, this time we're actually going to add our color after we add our lye. We're going to split the two colors here. It's just a different way of doing it. So I've got a total amount of lye and oil. That's a great ratio. If you've never calculated out or tried to do it, each oil that you use has a sap value. So the sap value is the amount of lye per ounce of oil that you need to cause the reaction. There's all kinds of great calculators out there that you can use. You just enter in the amount of oil of each kind of oil that you're using, and then tell it what kind of lye you're using, sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide or what have you. And then it'll spit out how much lye you need. So don't overly stress the SAT values or the calculations there. There's lots of people that have already done that math for you. Cheers. Hooah. Well, let's check our temp here. All right, let's get some thermal reduction going here. We're going to circumgyrate our lye solution a little bit. Once we circumgyrated it enough and got enough thermal reduction going, all right, there we go. That's going to go right into there. Now, we're going to mix it up a little bit. Haha, just kidding. We're not going to sit there and do that with that all day. Let me go rinse these off. I'll be right back. All right, great news, everybody. We've got those cleaned off. Now, we just want to mix it up real good, real quick, and then we'll mix in our colors. As you can see, we're immediately mixing it up. We've added no color at this point. And then we're going to pour about half of it out and into this bowl, and then we'll start adding in our color. There we go. We're going to do a half a teaspoon of this raspberry red. I don't like to contaminate my colors. Now again, we're looking for trace. Now for this, we actually wanted to get a little bit thicker because as we're using our frosting bag, we want it to hold its shape. We don't want it looking like a soup sandwich. Now I like this other particular color because it's bright pink. I like it, it stands out, it's nice contrast with everything else. Probably could have picked a better container for this. But that's okay. We'll live. Now remember what I said. We want a nice thick consistency. Woo! Gotta take a break. This particular soap is going to be included in something we're calling the Household 5 Giggity Valentine's Day box. The box is going to come with this soap, a similarly scented bath bomb for 2. Oh yeah. We're going to do a gift certificate to Country Heritage Winery, which is a winery here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And we're also going to do a little box of DeBrand chocolates, which are also based here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Listen guys, if chocolate, wine, a bubble bath, a bath bomb for 2, and an awesome smelling soap can't get you all the way, bro, I don't know how to help you seal that deal, okay? You're doing it wrong. Now, when I say thick, I mean thick. In order for this to hold shape, it can't hardly be liquid at all. Right now, we're sitting at about that gelatin icing that you buy from Walmart and everybody gets disappointed. That shit just sucks your soul out. It's not even sweet. Alright, we're going to give that a little time. Now one of the ideas we have for this, we're hoping to do more videos like this, more soap making videos. If you'd actually like them to be a little more educational and informative, please let us know. We're mostly doing this for the entertainment value. Another plan we have for this series is to bring on other local soap makers to actually show us real techniques. Now, we don't make soap here in the shop with beer and whiskey. Although that would be more fun. We're just doing this here for the video. You really do want to be safe around this lye. We've just been doing this a while and we've kept it all separate. But if you would like these videos to be more informative, more focused around the soap making, please let us know. This is soap making by infantrymen, so of course we're going to bring a sense of humor to it, but we want to provide you with whatever you're looking for. So here we go. All right, we're getting our nice and thick now. what you're gonna do, once your soap gets to a thickness that you're comfortable with, you're gonna wanna pop it into a cake decorating bag. I mean, no shit, it is a cake decorating bag. Like, it's exactly that. All right. Just gonna mix that in together a little bit. Let's see if it'll hold its shape. Yeah, we'll hold our shape. It's just like frosting a cake. Not that I've ever actually frosted a cake. Trust me, you do not want me to frost a cake for you. We're mostly just adding to it because we made this much soap and I don't want it to all go to waste. There we go. And this, guys, will end up being our Household 5 Giggity Valentine's Day soap. On the next episode of Soap Making with Infantrymen, we're gonna make probably one of our ranch military soaps. So look out, we'll probably be making Dirty Privates. Have a good one, y'all.